Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about how to recover fast from a marathon so you can keep training.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Okay, so with Run Disney, there are so many people that do multiple race weekends. And the most popular ones that I have heard of are Marathon Weekend and Princess Weekend. I don't know if it's just the themes, because the themes are so good, or if there's another reason why those ones are so popular. Maybe it's just the time of year because you don't have to run through the summer heat. It's cooler in Florida for actual race weekend, whereas like springtime surprise, holy moly, is it hot there. And then even Wine and Dine is pretty hot. Disneyland Halloween in September was really hot. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Send me a DM over on Instagram, runDisneyDPT. But it is so popular. And even just the other day, I got an email asking, do you have a training plan to go from marathon to princess? I need to know how much to run to recover so that I can keep training, but also not overdo it. Because I've had clients in the past where they do Dopey as the example, they do Dopey and then they don't run at all. And then the week before Princess, they just throw together a 9-mile run just to check things out, see if they can do it. As long as they can do the 9 miles, they're good to go, and they'll go and do the fairy tale challenge. You know, those 19.3 miles over the course of the couple of days. And that is not a strategy. I mean, it is a strategy. It's not a strategy, a winning strategy. So if you've done that in the past because you didn't know any better, it's okay because you didn't know any better. And I am going to share how to actually recover so that you can keep training and not feel like you're burnt out and feel like you actually want to keep training and not just wing it come princess, because you want to enjoy it. You don't want to feel completely broken, held together with KT tape as you're crossing the finish line at princess. You want it to be enjoyable. These are expensive races. We don't want to just, go out there willy-nilly and wing it. We want to do well and have fun. So, recovery after the marathon, it's pretty simple. The first 2 weeks is recovery. So if you've been in my world for any length of time, you know that there are 5 phases to a successful running journey, and that includes your build phase, your training phase, taper phase, race phase, and then rest and recovery phase. So race weekend, you are in race phase. Immediately after that, you go into rest and recovery phase. That typically lasts 2 weeks. If you don't have any significant injuries, that's going to last 2 weeks. If you have a significant injury, it's going to last longer, and that's okay. But for the purposes of this episode, we are talking about rest and recovery phase as those 2 weeks after the marathon, starting immediately after, like the second you finish the marathon race. You are now in rest and recovery mode. And one big mistake that a lot of runners make, I've already mentioned it, is they do nothing after the marathon. And it's to no fault of their own because they're burnt out. Their legs hurt, their knees hurt. They've just done 6, 7 months of training for the marathon and they feel like they need a break. I get it. So in these next 2 weeks, that's why I designed the training program the way I did so that you aren't burnt out, so that you are ready to run. So if you followed my training plan, yes, you're a little burnt out, but you're pretty soon after race day, you're ready to go again. Okay, so let's get into this. So for those first 2 weeks, actually, it's like the first 10 days, there's no running. Okay, there's no running. If you feel the urge to run in these first 10 days, I do recommend push that urge to the side. okay? Push it away. Don't succumb to it because there's plenty of running. After those first 10 days, you're going to get back into your normal running routine. Now, it's going to be less mileage because you're not training for a marathon anymore. You're not training for Dopey anymore. You don't need to be doing 26.2 miles. You don't need to be doing 48.6 miles. You're training for just 19.3. And I use the term just loosely. It's kind of facetious because it's still a lot. But comparatively to what you just did, it's not as much, okay? So, first 10 days, okay, you just did your marathon. You just finished the marathon over marathon weekend. Whether you did Dopey, Goofy, or just the marathon, you've just finished the marathon. You're done with that, okay? Moving into rest and recovery phase. So, if you listened to yesterday's podcast episode, it was all about recovering, post-race recovery. That's what you do immediately after and within the first 36 to 48 hours. Go listen to that one for what to do same day of the marathon. Now we're moving into day after marathon. So now we're Monday. Go and walk. I recommend walking 2 miles. If you're going to the parks, you don't have to set aside separate 2-mile exercise walk unless you're taking a wheelchair throughout or one of those motorized scooters throughout the park. You do need that designated 2 miles of walking. Otherwise, you can just use your park day as some leisurely walking. We are not fast paced. We are easy peasy. We are doing what I have learned to call a sniffari pace. So imagine you're walking your dog and they wanted to smell every single blade of grass. That is a sniffari. That is the pace you are going. We are talking about a leisurely stroll. Okay? Monday, walk 2 miles. Tuesday, walk 3 miles. Okay? Wednesday's rest, Thursday, walk 3, Friday, rest, Saturday, cross training, 30 minutes. Easy peasy, just, gentle ride of the bicycle. Sunday, you're resting. Monday, walk 3. Tuesday, resting. Wednesday, cross training, 30 minutes, easy peasy. Thursday, this is your first run day. So this is the second Thursday after your marathon. This is your first run. It's 30 minutes easy. So your easy, moderate, and hard paces. This is your easy pace. Okay, if you don't know your easy, moderate, or hard paces, that is something that I work one-on-one with my clients with or in my new Stronger, Faster, Finisher program. So if you're interested in learning how to figure out your pacing, go ahead and send me a DM over on Instagram, runDisneyDPT, and I'll get you the information for when that is starting. But you were doing 30 minutes easy. This is kind of a shakeout run, the kind of run you do before a race to shake out and loosen up your muscles. Same thing. This is just 10 days after the race. Friday, rest day. Saturday, cross training. Okay, we have done the rest and recovery phase. That's just the training portion of it, though. I don't want to lead you astray. There's the running and the cross training, the strength training, the stretching and mobility, the rest and recovery, the massage and the temperature-based treatments, your shoes and your equipment. What else did I forget? Oh, your fueling and hydration. I think I forgot one of the categories. That's okay. But there are the 6 pillars. I've talked about them on the other podcast. This is just the training portion. So that's the running and the cross training. Okay. Now we are into, it's been 2 weeks since race day. Now you're getting into long runs again. Okay. And if you're doing your challenge, we are going to do a simulation this week. So you kind of bookend 3 miles. So 3 miles on Sunday, 3 miles on the following Saturday. Then you have your rest, cross training, and some runs in between on your Tuesday, Thursday. Some are easy, some are tempo, some are 30, 20, 10. You're mixing it up, but now you're getting back into the rhythm of what a normal training plan looks like. Okay. And then Sunday, you're going to 6 miles. Saturday, you're doing cross training because if you've been in my world for any length of time, seen any of my free training plans that you can find on my website, you know that if you're doing the challenge, I recommend every other weekend is cross training and then the other weekend is running to simulate your back-to-back run days, okay? And then Sunday, you are at 8 miles. This is peak training week. So this is your longest run of this training cycle. 8 miles. That's it. You know that my typical training plan goes to 10 miles for a training plan that includes a half marathon. That's because you only need to go 70% of the race distance because you're going 30% slower. So 30 and 70% equal 100%. So it matches up. That's typically what you're doing. But because you just did all of that racing, you have not lost the time on your feet. And that's what you build with your long runs, the time on your feet. You have not lost that. You have maintained that. So you do not have to go to 10 miles. You do not have to go to 13.1 miles in between. 8, you can max out at 8 because you did at least 26.2 miles recently. Okay, so you don't need to go and do 10 or 13.1 miles. You don't have to. More miles does not mean better. Okay, that can be a recipe, especially if you're prone to injury. If you've been struggling with knee pain through your training in the past, avoid doing too many miles in between races. An 8 miler, that's great. That is all you need to do as your max. Then you're back into your rest and 30 minutes easy. Now we're in taper phase. The peak training run of training, that starts your taper phase. So now you are tapering. So things are easy, things are light. So we aren't doing speed workouts anymore. We are doing easy runs, keeping things loose, keeping things moving. Saturday at the end of that 8 miler week, you are resting. And then Sunday, this is the start of race week because the following Saturday is going to be your 10K. Your Sunday long run is 3 miles, easy peasy pace. Then rest on Monday, Tuesday, it's 30 minutes easy. Rest on Wednesday, and then Thursday, you can rest or walk 2 miles, keep things loose. Friday, rest or walk. Some people like to do the 5K just for funsies at at Princess, even when they're doing the Fairy Tale Challenge. That includes the 10K and the half. If you're doing the 5K, take it leisurely. Saturday's race day, and Sunday is race day. And then you get back into your rest and recovery phase. And that's it. That is recovering enough so that you don't overdo it, so you don't feel burnt out, so your legs don't feel like garbage, and you can keep training and you don't have to wing it for Fairy Tale Challenge. If you want this training plan written out, I have it. Send me a DM over on Instagram, runDisneyDPT. Tell me you listen to this podcast episode so I know what we're referencing, what training plan you want, and ask for the Marathon to Princess Fairy Tale Challenge training plan, and I will happily send you the link to get access to that for free.
Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.